Today I'm doing another library haul, or library book haul. And so the first book I have here is Love. And this book is a bit odd. It's what I'm reading right now, and I'm maybe 100 pages into it. And the subject matter in the book is definitely a bit unusual. If you look up the synopsis, you'll see what I mean. One thing is that I'm not a big fan of the writing style with this book. So I hope that it gets better. I know a lot of people really like this book. I have to be careful because last time I did that, my phone went flying. Okay, so next I have O, Caledonia. And this is by Elspeth Barker. And this is a book I wanted to read for a while, and it took a while for my library to get it to me. Not all of the books that I have are checked out from one library, just an FYI, because I tend to have like a ton of books in these videos. These books also come from other libraries in my state. There's an interlibrary loan program where I think it's like all or nearly all of the books of the libraries in the state participate in. So if your library doesn't have a book and another library does, they'll just send it to your library and then you can read it, and then it goes back. Okay, I have a lot of very thin almost paperback textured books, not a ton of crinkly books this time. I definitely have some, but a lot of the books that I have checked out are really small books, only 200 or 300 pages. Now this is The Silent Companions by Laura Purcell. And a lot of these books are horror books. I think all three that I've talked about are horror or gothic inspired books, because I was still getting books out from what I put on Halloween, or what I put on hold for Halloween. So then I have, this is not about Halloween at all, and I really am annoyed with this library for putting its big fat address on the book, even though it's not really close to me. But this is The Automat, The History, Recipes, and Allure of Horn and Hardard's Masterpiece. So this is a nonfiction book about the automat, basically, and there are some recipes in here. This is baked macaroni and cheese, chocolate chip cookies, and just some overall history about the automat. We have oatmeal cookies, mashed potatoes, and there's a ton of history within the book as well. I recently watched, not recently, this was a few weeks ago, but I recently watched the documentary The Automat. It was on HBO Max, and it was very cool. Weirdly edited, but very cool. So if you're interested in automats, I'm just fascinated by them, maybe. That's a little documentary you can watch. It's not that long. So then I have, I think I just talked about in my last one, a book by him, because I remembered like failing to pronounce his name correctly. Ian or Ian Reid. I-A-I-N Reid. But this is Foe. And this is another one of his books, because I wanted to read more of them. I read We Spread, which is fairly new, and I really liked it. And I really liked his book, I'm Thinking About Ending Things, or I'm Thinking of Ending Things. I read that last year, and it was really, really good. So if you like a good thriller, I recommend you check that out. So then I have The Ruin of All Witches, Life and Death in the New World by, I have no idea because the name is covered. Oh, Malcolm Gaskill. But I believe that this is a history book. I actually... Is this a history book? Is this nonfiction? No way. This is fiction. But it's throwing me off because it says the history book of the years. I'm actually not sure now that I think of it. So this could be nonfiction or fiction. I put it on hold so long ago that I genuinely don't remember. I put this on hold probably like a month or two before Halloween, and it took forever. And that's the thing, is if it takes too long, I tend to forget what books are about. But I just know at one point I was very excited for them. It's like Christmas morning every time something comes in. So then, this is a short story collection, and this is a really small book. This is Blood Feast by, another name I'm gonna have trouble with, Malika Mustadrov. I probably pronounced that incorrectly, and I'm sorry. I have been reading a lot of books from other countries lately, and I'm doing this sort of, I guess, self-led challenge where I am trying to read a book written by a woman from every country. No, there are 196, I think, countries. If that's incorrect, it's because something happened since I filmed this. And this is the book I am using for Morocco. But I think I have something like 30 countries already. And I've read some really great books for this little challenge. I might have another book that I checked out for the challenge in here. But then we have Case Study by, I can't read that backwards, Graham McRae Burnett. The print is very bright in this book. Like the pages are very, very white. I think, is this one of those books that was republished recently? No, it's not. I had a book, I have a few books that I have read lately that were republished recently, that were originally published in the 60s, and just because of the cover of this, I thought that this might be one of them. This is a newer book. But it seems like there's a big interest now in, I guess, underappreciated female authors. And I'm seeing a lot of books by female authors that were originally published years and years ago are getting republished. Okay, sorry if it's a mess. I've been doing a lot of cleaning and sorting because I am moving soon, and it sucks that it's around Christmas because that's when you tend to have way too much stuff in your house as is to get anything done. But we're looking for a place. We're going to be touring places probably in like January, but we're already pretty much looking at places, just not physically. It's just we picked a really stupid time to move because it's winter and we've had miserable weather and Christmas and all that. So then this next is, my face is itchy, The Wayward Bus by John Steinbeck. Now, I read Of Mice and Men by Steinbeck when I was in school, when I was in like high school, and that was a long time ago, but I remember not disliking it, and I tried to read The Grapes of Wrath, and there's nothing wrong with The Grapes of Wrath. It's just when I started to read it, the pandemic hit, and I don't know, I just didn't want to read anything around that time, and I ended up not finishing it. It's just, I was working a public-facing job, and it was very stressful, so I just sort of lost interest in reading, plus the library's all closed. So I never finished The Grapes of Wrath. I got like 7 or 8 chapters in. And it wasn't just that book. I also gave up on Salem's Lot by Stephen King. And there were a few other books I had checked out that I never ended up reading because I just didn't feel like it. It was a weird time, the beginning of the pandemic. But I'll probably end up reading The Grapes of Wrath in the future when I feel that depression spark Great Depression, like the event, not I get depressed and I want to read about desolate farming. I don't know. It's kind of early. But this is The Wayward Bus. And this book, the description like reminded me of The Twilight Zone, like the show. But not in a spooky way, more in that like that early or mid-century, I guess is the best description, that mid-century vibe that I feel like The Twilight Zone captures really well because it was made in the mid-century. But I just thought that I would like this because of that, because I love mid-century themed, or not themed, set, mid-century set books and movies. Anyway, this is Jerome K. Jerome's 3 Men in a Boat and 3 Men on the Bummel, which I don't know if those are 2 separate books. I believe that they are. Yeah. Somebody check this book out. I'm not going to show you, but there's a receipt in here. I'm not going to show you because it has like addresses. Somebody checked this book out and it was due in 2017. So maybe this book doesn't move that often. This is an older book. Could I tell you the exact year? This was first published in 1889, and it's a comedy humor book. And I've read something by him before. I couldn't tell you what it is. It was like some sort of Christmas horror, creepy story. And I really liked his writing style, so I thought I would check out his most famous book. This is the next book I'm going to read. This is Revival Season by Monica West. This is fiction. I have a lot of fiction this week. I wanted to make this gripping heavy, but it ended up being tapping heavy because I really like the spine tapping. Oh my god, I have so many other books. So then I have Pretty Girls by Karen Slaughter. This has been on my TBR for like 3 years. I couldn't tell you what it's about. It's like some sort of thriller. Can I just say that I hate books that are paperbacks like this? I think they're such a pain to read. I like to set my book down and like not hold it open. A nice textured cover. And then this is another new book. This is a thriller. This is Secluded Cabin Sleeps 6 by Lisa Unker. There's another book by her that I wanted to read that I could not find. Actually, I think I just lied to you. Sorry, I did lie to you. I think I was thinking of a different author. says brand new. It smells brand new. A brand new book smell. I haven't been reading a lot of thrillers lately because I feel like they are getting to be all the same. And it's kind of driving me crazy. How little variety and how they're all very, very predictable. But this book is Looking for Miss America, a pageant's 100-year quest to define womanhood by Margot Mifflin. Now this is nonfiction. And it's basically just about the history of Miss America. There's a lot of photos in here, a lot of history. I thought this would just be a fun read, something a little bit different from what I normally read, especially because a lot of the books that I read have very dark themes, and it gets to be a little depressing after a while, which is why I tend to break it up with some like more interesting nonfiction. I thought something was falling. So this is another nonfiction book. This is Free. A Child in a Country at the End of History by Leah, I don't know how to pronounce that, YPI. I want to say yippee, but I don't think that that's how you pronounce it. It's just my instinct. But this is about growing up in Albania. It specifically says, Albania's Soviet-style socialism held the promise of a preordained future. And all that. But this is one of my country reads. I'm going to have this book be for Albania, obviously. I hope I didn't miss anything that was for a different country. There are some countries that I'm having a really hard time finding books for. Or I have found a book for a country that I really want to read, and I can't find them. Like, I can't find them at the library. I can't find them on my ebook app. I don't really do ebooks a ton, but I'm willing to do them if I can't find a hard copy. And I might have to buy them, but I think there was 1 or 2 books that I looked into. I looked on like a used book site, not Amazon, because they're usually super cheap, and they were not available. Even though I know that they were published in English. So, I don't know. I think that happened with my Estonian pick, my Latvian pick, and my Lithuanian pick. And I was really disappointed because there were a few books in there that I really, really, really wanted to read regardless of the challenge. Like, they just sounded really good. Okay, so next we have the New York Trilogy by Paul Auster. This has been on my TBR for a long time. This is like a detective novel of sorts. Like a detective mystery thriller novel. Also, I cut my hair. It looks really weird because I went to bed with it wet, which is like the stupidest thing that a person can do if they want their hair to look nice in the morning. But I cut my hair. I forgot that I did that. I think that this book's gonna be good. It must be good because I'm seeing someone else who checked this out did underline parts of the book. So, I don't know. I think I'm gonna like this. I think this is gonna be a good winter read. Because it's set in New York and it's detective. I don't know. That just kind of gives me winter. So, next. This is actually not a country read for me because I already have China. I had China a long time ago. But this is called 9 Continents, a memoir in and out of China. The thing is this book is published under different names depending on what country you live in. Because it was called, I think it was in the UK, it was called Once Upon a Time in the East. So that's the book I was looking for. And that's not its name in the US. So 9 Continents, a memoir in and out of China. By, I believe, Zhao Gao. It's like I purposely pick authors with names I know I won't be able to pronounce right off the bat, just to embarrass myself. But this is a memoir, obviously, because it's in the title. Okay, so I have 2 more books and then we'll be done. This is Strike Your Heart by Emily Notham. This is a country read. I have this for Belgium. Not Brazil. I don't know why I was thinking of Brazil. Just went with the first B country that I could think of. Belgium. From Belgium. I think this was originally published in French or Italian. But this is a fiction book about like motherhood. That's the central topic. I don't like the way that this book sounds, so I'm gonna move on. I have, this is just a regular book, Aesthetica by Ali Rowbottom. And this book is I don't really know what to describe this as because this isn't like the only book I would describe of this genre where it's like tech thriller, tech fiction, like modern dystopian, I don't know. Basically any book that involves social media or Instagram or plastic surgery. I believe that's a huge theme in this book. But I don't know, I feel like it's kind of its own genre at this point. This is the cover. And there's a sticker on here that is trying to come off. Ali yellow bottom. But that is the last book that I have. That was a lot of books. But I hope that you enjoyed this video, even though it's a little all over the place. It was very tapping heavy. Very talking heavy. I just can't stop running my mouth. But I hope that you liked this video. If you have any requests, leave them down below. There are a few requests that I have gotten that I am going to do eventually. So if you asked for a specific type of video, it is probably going to be made. A matter of when is a great question, because I don't know. But yeah, any requests, any comments, concerns, consequences, whatever, just let me know. Anyway, I hope that you have a good night and a good holiday season.